discussing digital business today under the context of banking. I know that many of you here today are from the banking industry, and I will be doing this presentation along with a co-presenter, Dominic Emery from Avalok. He will actually be showing you a demo of Liferay in action with the Avalok banking solution. And I took a brief look at it earlier this morning, and it looks great. So it's really good that I'll be speaking about something that you will be seeing in action shortly after. So just to get started, when I okay, first technical failure, no problem. Okay, so when I talk about digital business, you are all probably familiar with some of the things that are listed here, some of the goals that you're probably trying to accomplish in your organization, trying to make use of a lot of legacy applications, information, systems inside of your organization, trying to monetize it and make use of it for your end customers and for your organization internally. And so digital business really covers a lot of these different topics. And today I'm going to talk about them very briefly at a high level, but really go into how having a strong, scalable platform to build your digital business on can be very beneficial and a key to whether you succeed or fail, not just today, but in the future as you continue to innovate and build new solutions within your organization. So a brief survey that was done by A.T. Kearney interviewing 50 to 100 financial institutions worldwide, deep interviews about their views on digital business, what their plans are. You kind of get some metrics that you can kind of take a look at. This just kind of shows you from the interviews where banks are in their readiness for digital business throughout the world, and where it's strong. Obviously, in Europe, digital business is leading along with the United States, and how banks are committing themselves to innovating on digital business. And as a result, if you notice the stronger or the leaders in terms of readiness, and then compare them to a survey of actual usage of online business of online banking, you'll see that, of course, those countries with the highest level of readiness and innovation in their organizations also get the most usage in terms of their solutions and online banking. And of course, we all know there's a certain age group that tends to use online banking more, and this is usually the early 30s to 40 age demographic. And then more and more, you're getting sort of the 50-year-old demographic continuing to adopt more and more. And what is the result of this? All of this online banking, online solutions, the same survey took a look at how that's impacting the traditional way of banking, the branches. And just the survey of Dutch banks and the presence of their branches, you can see that over a 10-year period, the number of branches that have existed in that region has been about halved. So half of the branches that used to exist now. And this is definitely, of course, a direct result of more and more of the end users going to self-service, the customer portal, internet banking, to do a lot of their day-to-day needs. In the US, of course, the same impact. This is just a breakdown of the net number of branches that are closing or opening in the United States. And you can see that we're losing in the United States about 2,500 branches per year. So more and more banks in the US are also scaling back their branch presence. And even part of the survey went into saying that a lot of the branches that remain open are not profitable, but they remain open simply for regulatory purposes or to maintain a perception to some of their existing customers that they're still present in their region. And so what this shows really is that digital business is impacting positively both the outside, your end customers, as well as internally, in terms of the way that you optimize your resources, being able to get more efficiency out of your solutions. So on the outside, you're providing a new customer experience, streamlined banking, one single login, a great user experience on one dashboard to be able to do many things like your internet banking, your bill pay, and even your investments all in one place. In the back end, because you're streamlined and you're on one platform, you're able to really understand your customers better. You see them on one platform, you're able to do analytics, you're able to report on them, profile them, and in turn, understand your customers and be able to respond to them by doing things like offering them the targeted content, information that's relevant to them, engaging them, and building the brand and brand loyalty to your organization. So the question really is, what is your digital strategy? What are you building on moving forward? I know that speaking with so many customers throughout my time here at Liferay, but also when I was in the banking industry, that you have a lot of different systems. Most banks will have their internet banking or some systems written in CGIs, Perl, C++. They'll have maybe a document repository. All of these different systems that they're looking to kind of aggregate and provide to the end user. And so another view of that is really more from a banking perspective. You have all of these core offerings that exist today. You may have, or you may be thinking about, creating added value applications such as investment advice, budget management tools, all of these things on top of your existing internet banking, and then integrating all of that into one solution to your end customers. And so as you strategize on that top layer, the bottom is sort of all the other things that you need to worry about and plan for and implement. Things like how to profile and handle your customers, their identities, how to integrate, how to provide security, single sign-on, administration, analytics. And so in Liferay or in your platform, these are all things that really should be considered and built out. At least the framework should be there so that you don't have to build out these foundational elements. You should just be focusing on your core solutions and your financial management and final product to your customer. And so this end layer, this foundational platform, is what Liferay has been providing, not just in the banking industry. Obviously, a lot of these things that we're talking about apply to retail, insurance, government. But this is where Liferay really provides a very scalable solution. And Liferay, for those of you that are not familiar with what Liferay is, essentially Liferay has been a project that has an open source project that was started over 10 years ago. And it originated as a solution for providing nonprofits with a low total cost of ownership, scalable solution for building enterprise-grade applications. Those organizations that couldn't afford to buy, the Oracles, the SAPs, and Microsofts. Those organizations that needed a solution out of the box that would take care of a lot of that foundational elements and provide them with a tool they could quickly build on. And so through those last 10, 12 years, actually 14 years now for Liferay, just some numbers, as an open source project, we've had incredible adoption globally. Liferay is across many different verticals and used for many different solutions. As a company itself, it's grown tremendously. We are worldwide with over 1,500 enterprise customers, and these are customers that work with us for formal support and services, as well as, of course, a huge open source community. And just a brief listing of large organizations that are currently using Liferay, as well as banks even here in Switzerland that are leveraging the platform along with value-added solutions for their end customers. Just very briefly, we're also recognized by Gartner. For those of you that are familiar with the Gartner analysts, we have been recognized for the last 4 or 5 years as a leader in the Magic Quadrant for Horizontal Portals. We compete directly with those names mentioned, Oracle, IBM, SAP, for that portal space. And so customers now are really looking for something more than just the traditional solutions. They're looking at something open, they're looking for something scalable, and they're looking for something that makes sense from a cost perspective. So what does Liferay provide? Besides all of those frameworks and authentication, profiling, user management, and all those building blocks, Liferay also provides you with a lot of features on top of this platform, built out solutions to allow you to do things like build your public websites, your intranet websites, along with collaboration and social, delivering your content to mobile platforms, All of these things are solutions that are built into the Liferay platform, as well, and to play along with a lot of the customized solutions that you might build. And this really allows you to really complete the entire picture, where you may be surfacing something like internet banking, but you may want to add a social aspect to it. You may want to add content or marketing aspects to it. And so this allows you to do all of that, again, without rebuilding things that have already been developed and are already widely available in the market. And so just this concept, I'll go quickly for those that are not familiar with portals, is this aspect of building portlet applications, allowing you to deliver discrete applications and integrations into one common dashboard for your end customers. And you'll see that more in action in the Avalok demo, where you'll see it actually in action and in a very fluid, modern user experience and UI. Being able to add and integrate things like your existing applications without redeveloping, simply by integrating Liferay with an existing internet banking or solution, being able to then, as I mentioned, stream in things like targeted marketing, knowing who your customer is, and saying, for users or end customers that I know, have a certain net income or have a net worth, I want to target specific types of products to them. For those that have a lower income, I may want to, target other types of marketing content. So all of that being able to do it on a platform without having to develop. Of course, built into the portal, the ability to target mobile, that's something that's a given. You shouldn't have to have an entirely different mobile strategy. Your platform should be thinking about and handling a lot of that mobile aspect of your platform. So in Liferay, mobile is just part of the product. This is built in preview so that your administrators or people that are developing or adding content, or even your end users, can see what this content is going to look like, on an iPhone, on a tablet, on different platforms. And this is all, web-based and reuses, the web interface that you've already created. And for those that want to develop native apps, I'm sure native apps, and most organizations already have this, a native application that allows your end users to interface with your organization. And then just the things you would expect, profiles, letting your users have a profile that they can manage, that can integrate with LDAP or any existing user database that you already have, and streamline that into the portal. Giving them a administration interface so that or for your internal users, so they can manage those users, group them, work with them. And all of these building blocks allow you to kind of go with this portal development mentality that we like to talk a lot about at Liferay, which is, you have a timeline and you have a project, something you want to do within your organization. Maybe today or in a very short time, you will have a website, and you're thinking about adding, a banking solution. And so, in a very short time frame, there's a lot of pre-built solutions out there. For example, Avalok offers an all-in-one solution, providing all of this in one package. And so you have, e-banking along with your public website to interface with all of your end users. And because of the way the portal is architected, the way that you can simply install new applications or enable new features, what you can then do is add these modules or portlets that Liferay comes with or that you develop on your own. For example, with collaboration, and then maybe shortly after you want to add another phase to your project and include intranet, right? And that's just as simple in Liferay as activating private communities or sites inside of the portal to now be able to use one platform to handle not just your intranet website, but your public website, your collaboration, your e-banking, and to just keep on building on a platform that was designed to scale and designed for modules and development between different teams. And what this really allows you to do, and towards the end of the survey, really what it talks about is that a lot of these core banking features or your core solutions, more and more over time are going to become commoditized, sort of the expected approach. Most customers expect their banks to have an online, a bill pay, integrated investment services. This is just something that's a given. And so where banks are trying to differentiate themselves then is really with a lot of the value-added services. I know that in the US, for example, Intuit, who I worked with, acquired Mint.com. I'm not sure if you're aware. Mint.com is basically an aggregation of different accounts, and it analyzes the way a user spends and pays bills in order to give that user recommendations on how to save money. So if they notice that a user is spending so much, so-and-so money on insurance, they'll actually target, their own insurance products to say, did you know that with our bank, you can save this much per month with this insurance or with this credit card? And so a lot of those things, as well as in the, further out in the future, being able to do things like e-wallets and all those aspects are going to become more and more important. And so a lot of the things I've talked about so far are really for today, things that we need to have, the digital business we need to have and exist now, but also planning for what's going to happen in 3 years, 5 years, what are the initiatives, and are you investing in a platform that's going to be able to handle and scale to that? And so to summarize, really having this portal in between is a very critical choice, and this is where Liferay has really come into a lot of the discussions and into consideration as sort of the baseline for building out a lot of these solutions and all the different phases and things that organizations are telling us that they need to do. One of the great aspects of open source too is the fact that as an open source company, our product development actually comes from a lot of feedback from our customers. So customers that tell us that, hey, what's important to us is being able to target content to our end users. What's important to us is being able to bring in financial management tools. And so with Liferay, how we've been able to compete so well against other organizations, much bigger organizations like SAP and Oracle, is the fact that with this open approach, we're able to build things that customers actually want to use, that solutions providers actually want to build on. And you'll see an example of something really great that industry experts or companies that really specialize in certain verticals have adopted Liferay to build their solutions on. And in closing, just very common use cases, many banks globally, you'll see some local use case later in this presentation, but really using Liferay to provide not just end user interfaces, but also customer self-service, profiling, being able to be in touch with the customer, build that loyalty, brand recognition, so being able to connect with the end customer and provide that streamlined, fluid experience that is being expected now in the digital world and from a digital business. And so I think my time is about up here. I'm going